And so there are 15 of these. Some say that it's 15 because there were 15 steps leading up to the temple where the Levites would go to serve. And they would sing these songs on the way up to serve. Most people, though, say that these were the 15 songs sung on the way to Jerusalem. And each song is, another translation is degrees. Each song takes you a degree higher. So it's all about elevating higher, right? What does the Bible say about the higher calling? How do we get there? We press toward the mark, right, of the higher calling. Pressing toward the mark. The only reason you would use the word pressing is because something is always resisting you. Something is always resisting your effort, your energy in getting to that place and elevating higher. These songs are about elevating higher. When you start with Psalm 120, you hear David talking about, you hear the psalmist talking about how tough and how challenging things were, how difficult of situations he had to go through, even being in a pit-like environment and having to climb out of that pit to a higher place. How many of you have had to climb out of pits in your lives, right? You've been in some really dark places and you had to climb out of those places. And he says, when I think about the places that I've had to climb out of, my goal was always to get back home to Jerusalem. My goal was always to get back to the temple. My goal was always to get back to a place where I remember the joy and the presence of the Lord, right? And so that's our story, is we're always trying to get back home. And he starts with this: I will lift up my eyes to the mountains. Then he asks the question, where does my help come from? Let's answer that together in line number 2. You ready? My help. Stop right there. Step right there. That first line. Where it says?
My help comes from the Lord.
Where do your help come from?
Lord.
Let's say it loud. My
help comes from the Lord.
Where does your help come from?
The Lord.
Who is the Lord? Read the next line.
The maker of heaven and earth.
If you're going to somebody who didn't make heaven and earth, it's probably not the Lord.
Right.
You're like, duh. I know that is a duh moment, but seriously, how many of you have gone to somebody for help that didn't make heaven and earth? And how well were they able to help you? She said it was the opposite, right? Sometimes when you go to people, or you go to places, or you go to things, or you go to crack pipes or peels for help, it normally doesn't turn out great, does it? You know why? Because the crack pipe, the peel, your mama and daddy are not the makers of heaven and earth. And because they don't have the power, the creativity, the sovereignty to create heaven and earth, they don't really know what your true needs are. How many of you as parents really felt like you knew what your children needed? I know what you need. I know what you need. Kids come in the house, start cussing. Oh, I know what you need. Right? Come on, somebody. Yeah. My oldest kid, that kid was bad all through school. Every grade. We fussed at that kid. We talked to that kid. We walked with that kid. I thought I knew what that kid needed. So I gave it to him. Gave it to him a few times. That didn't work. I said, oh, I know what he needs. I need to take his game. Whoopers ain't working. I need to take his games. I took his game. Guess what the kid did? Got worse. Went right back to school and acted up to Pank. I said, okay. I know what he need. He loves those Jordan tennis shoes. I know what he needs. I need to take them Jordans from him. Right? I took his Jordans. You know how long that lasts? And I was like, we need to take his Jordan and give him some Payless Shoe Source. Since he has a Payless Shoe Source attitude, I'm the only one that's done that. You want to behave like that, then I'm going to treat you like that. So I thought I knew what he needed, right? So I gave it to him. That didn't work. I said, I know what he needs. He just needs some time with me. So one day I just took him out of school and we just rolled around. We went go-karting. We went pizza. We just was going to have fun. I'm like, he just needs to have fun, right? He sucked up all of my go-kart money. Ate all my pizza. Guess what he did when he got back to school? Showed out. You know when my kids stop showing out, and you know, he still show out some, but you know when he really stopped showing out? When his help came. When he met the maker of heaven and earth, all of a sudden, something started happening inside of him. Now, I was there to guide him to the creator of heaven and earth. My entire responsibility in that kid's life was to make sure he had a clear path as it relates to me and his mom to meeting his true help. I was doing everything except making sure that I prayed and worked with him on introducing him to his true help. And instead of focusing on his behavior, because that's what we do, right? Because that's what's there. Instead of focusing on his behavior, I should have been focusing on his connection with the Holy One. Buying or removing items is not necessarily introducing your kid to their help. And a lot of reason why we're in the shape we're in right now is because we're trying everything other than going to our help. Amen? Amen. You know how you're going to beat addiction? Nobody know? You don't know how to overcome addiction? Do I need to pull Suzanne up here? Give her a testimony? Yes! She's cool. She's cool with her. She's like, yes! Look at the psalmists. Look at the people in Jerusalem. They said, we look to the mountains. Why are they looking to the mountains? Because they're remembering everything God said and everything God has done. You're going to get out of here and you're going to look back at this place and remember everything God said to you here. Right? Where are my graduates? Graduates, when they're driving into this place after they've been gone, Chris had been gone a little bit. She was with us, stayed with us a little bit. We enjoyed Chris so much. But at some point she had to come back here. And it should have brought joy because of everything God has said to her in this place. Right? That's all they were saying, is we remember the joyful time, the times where we laughed and the festivals, because they knew when they got back they were going to have a festival. They couldn't wait to get back to the festivals of the Lord because they wanted to celebrate. Now they were learning in the nations. I'm going to tell you something that happened to me. So I was a complainer. I know there's nobody here like that. I was a complainer. I lived in Texarkana and I complained about everything in Texarkana. I hate the food here. Downtown is horrible. That's not even a downtown. These jobs are horrible. I hate working here. No one acknowledges my gifts or skill set. I'm having to struggle for every penny here. I hate church. Religious people, they don't want anything, right? They just want to be religious. Sit up in here and sit at these tables and talk. I hate all this stuff. And so the Lord drove me out of Texarkana and brought me to a little town called Newport, Arkansas. Set me slap dab in the middle of a field. Enjoy that, partner. Because for the next 2 years and 7 months, that's where you're going to be. You know what your view going to be? Won't be McDonald's, won't be Burger King. Your view is going to be the field. You're going to watch farmers go and come. You're going to play with mosquitoes, kill rats, and snakes. Enjoy. I sat in that field for a while. And I got to fussing with the Lord. What are we doing? I'm crying and yelling at him, and he's just loving on me. And I'm crying and yelling at him, he's just loving on me. And then I meet this group. Then I start coming to this group. Then I start talking to this group. Then I had a rotation spot. And then I got to move back to Texarkana. When I got to the city, I told my wife, I don't have a single complaint about anything. It's been purged out of me. All I have is Thanksgiving. And now when it's time to go to fellowship on Saturdays, I am so excited. I feel like I'm in the songs of ascent, and I'm ascending and I'm elevating to higher places in the Lord because I've learned to not complain. He had to teach me to not see everything through a negative lens. Everything around me is not bad. There are some good things. I just got to look at it and find it. Now, for you ladies that's waking up in the cottages and you gotta complain. I don't like my roommate. I don't like this place. There ain't nothing to do out here. I don't like it. God has a place for you to burn out all of those complaints. And he's so good at what he does, he can hold you in place until you shut your mouth. The next time you open your mouth, guess what will be coming out? Thank you. Don't y'all think she crazy when she's walking through the house with you? Thank you. She's had a moment to reflect on how good things are versus how bad things are, or how bad she's made things to be. How many of you know you see what you want to see? Right? Well, I'm not used to being in a house full of women, yapping, talking all crazy. But you was in a drug house. You was somewhere with needles in your veins, drugs up your nose. You was somewhere where you couldn't sleep, where you didn't know the next time you were going to eat. Are y'all listening to me? You complaining about here? God's refuge? God's safe place? Your 12-month pause. At some point, guys, God's going to push the play button again. And you won't have this. I look to the mountains. He says, where do my help come from? He answers, my help comes from the Lord, the maker of. Now, number 3. Line number 3. When you learn to lock in on line number 2, you're rewarded with line number 3. What does line number 3 say?
You will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber.
Have you ever had people that you went to that was able to keep you from falling? Not only falling, but able to keep even you from slipping. How many of you have slipped and failed several times in your life? You was trying to stand, you was going to do the right thing, you promised everybody, you made another promise and then another promise, I'm about to get this right. You went to all your friends, hey, I'm about to get this right. I learned my lesson. I'm good. I'm done. I'm straight. I'm out. No more problem from me. How long did that last? Don't raise your hand. How many of you wrote those letters home? Those real convincing letters about how much you've changed. And then something happened in the cottage. And you snap. In the cottage. You ain't even got home yet. Over here. But you just wrote that beautiful letter home. Baby, I'm changed. My attitude is different. God has blessed me. I feel the Spirit now. Poppy baptized me Sunday. Went over there and somebody ate your Cheerios and you start cussing like somebody. Drunk that last cup of coffee and knew you needed some caffeine before the day was over. I can't believe y'all drunk up all the coffee. You know. If your help comes from Him, He's your energy. He's your energy to change. He's your energy to want more, to want the right things. He's your energy to look for positive things in life. He's your energy to connect to the right people. He's your energy to never slip and fall again. But it's Him in you. And you can't have Him in you working that way if you don't realize that all your help comes from the Lord. When you get in these codependent relationships and you start thinking that you can rely upon people and you start putting all your trust and all your faith in human energy and human beings and supports and resources, and all those are good things. Human beings can be the best source of best place of resource. They can be God working in a human can be really good for you, but it can also be really bad when you start using that instead of God. When you start trying to make a human being do for you what only God can do, you can create some horrible relationships with horrible boundaries. How many of you have boundaries issues? Yes. Because you're trying to make human beings be something that only God can be. In a second, my wife and I are going to talk about being married And one of the things we realize is that neither one of us were ever supposed to be God in each other's lives. And the minute we tried to turn that person into something that replaces God, we had the golden calf impact. Come on, let's go. So line number 4. Ooh, that's good. You know what he's saying? I heard Clay say this the other day, and this is so true. Now you can rest. Yes. What are you up for if he's up? Amen. Are you better at watching over you than he is? No. Are you better at watching over your children than he is? No. I got to get out of here, Suzanne, because I got to go watch over my kid because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And you know, I'm the only one he has. Is it? If you all he has, he's in trouble. If you are all your kid have, that kid's in trouble. But if he has the one who watches over Israel, do you know what God has done for Israel? Even when Israel has been showing out, God has remained faithful and kept his shalom hovering over Israel like clouds. He protects her. If you all, your kid and family has, they're in a world of trouble. You know what I want you to do tonight, Peg? My wife will tell you, I have no problem sleeping. My mother would tell you, I used to sleep under her sewing machine. I can sleep anywhere. And I've learned not to go to bed worried about anything. Because he who watches over Israel, he never slumbers, he don't ever get tired, and he doesn't ever go to sleep. Isn't that cool? Yes. Watch the next one. Line number 5. And the only reason he says he's your shade is because of line number 6. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. You know what he's saying? And you have to read this you have to read Proverbs and Solomon's writing to understand what life under the sun looks like. But what he's saying is no matter what happens throughout your day, he's watching over you. No matter what happens at night, he's watching over you. He's a shade. He's a shield. He's a layer of protection. So anything that's coming at you, the Lord says it's got to go through me first. Did you hear that? Can I also share this? Sometimes, even with the Lord as your shield, things still hit you, but it hit you because he allowed it to. It doesn't have the same force because he knows your frame, he knows you are but dust, and so he protects you. He takes the hit for you so that by the time the hit hits you, it's not coming with as much force. It's only enough force to train you and make you better, not to take you out. So he'll let some darts hit you, right? But before the dart hits you, the fire is off of the head of it. Dart's coming at you, he blows it off, and then it hits you. Because I don't want you to leave here thinking, okay, as long as I'm hidden behind the Lord, nothing will touch me. No. He lets some stuff touch you. Yeah. It's a part of your training. It's a part of your purification process. It's a part of your pruning. It's a part of your disciplinary process. It's a part of your learning process. So he's going to let some stuff touch you. You're still going to hear some stuff that you'd rather not hear. But he is protecting you so that it doesn't harm you.
Yeah.
Right? Line number 8. Ready?
The Lord will watch over your coming and going now and forevermore.
How long do you have the Lord watching over you? According to that, you're coming and going. How many of you were brought here on your own? You chose to come here. Others don't raise your hand. How many of you didn't have no choice? You just showed up here because it was either here or someplace worse. Now guess what? Either way, now it's what you make of it. Are y'all listening? Now it's what you make of it. The Lord's promising that he's never going to leave you. He's going to watch over you. You can go to sleep tonight. And he's got you, right? But it's up to you. Now, turning to your resources. I'm going to even step out to say that some of us feel like our help is deep within us, right? Like it's really us. Like I can help myself. I don't need your help. Those are our prideful women. I don't need nobody. I bet you there's about 3 of y'all right now. I don't need nobody. I can take care of myself. How has that worked out for you? Right? Women, I need you to be really careful because the culture that we're in right now is using you to destroy men and to replace men. It's called a counterculture to the kingdom, where women can be anything they want to be, including a man. Right now, we're struggling, Suzanne. I've been doing research on this, and you guys who were at the last service that we did in Pocahontas, I've been doing research on the fatherless. And they call it a fatherless epidemic because there's so many children right now that's having to be raised without their fathers. I talk to them every day. I work in a behavioral psychiatric facility. I talk to them every day. And their fathers are either unavailable or not there or incarcerated or whatever the case may be. And these children, their identities are being shaped in that neglect, in that rejection. And yet God has given women a house of refuge, a city of refuge, a place of safety to come and get better. Why would you want anything else? Right? I know you got cravings. I get that. Right? It's because of what we've done to ourselves prior to coming here. We now have cravings. We got stuff that we want to deal with, things that draw us out of our place of safety. But this is a place of safety. This is a place God created to give you a hiatus so that he can prepare you for the next stage of your life. Promises. Right? All right, we're going to take a small break. Don't move yet. Those 3 things that you have there, we're going to get rid of those when we come back. We're going to look at Psalms 46 and come back. and then my wife and I are going to talk to you. All right? Go take a break, go use the bathroom. Don't check your cell phones because you